ahead at yourself.
I ain't did.
You always doing. You was doing 3 days ago in Houston. What is you blowing up and saying all these inaccuracies for to these people? You always doing that. You always doing.
Exactly.
No, it ain't accurate. No, it's not actually accurate. You said to me that when we were married, I was going to hotels cheating on you. That's a goddamn lie.
I didn't say you wanted to.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that you was.
Yes, you did.
There's
And
a
you've said it
possibility.
multiple times.
There's a possibility because like me.
Well, we know you were cheating.
It's okay. Okay.
Martell was coming for her peace and for her children. Her hands trembled as she read the notice. In Atlanta, the place that had become her sanctuary was about to turn into another battleground. She called Angela Mason her lawyer, sharp, fearless, and steady as ever. He was never going to stay quiet, Angela said calmly. I just wanted peace, Melody whispered, her voice cracking. Why can't he just let me live? Because some people crave control more than peace, Angela replied. To him, you're not just an ex-wife. You're the reminder that he lost. April 25th arrived, and the Atlanta County Courthouse looked like a circus. News vans crowded the streets, cameras flashed, and reporters shouted questions. Social media buzzed with speculation. Melody walked in holding her children's hands, head held high. Martell followed behind with his legal team trying to look confident, but his eyes gave him away. Inside, Judge Turner presided with firm authority. Angela portrayed Melody as a loving, stable mother building a safe home in Atlanta, while Martell's lawyer, David Crane, countered with claims of alienation and insisted that the children needed equal access to both parents. The judge listened carefully, often interrupting to demand facts, not feelings. By the end of the day, there was no ruling. Melody stepped out into a storm of cameras but said nothing. Silence became her armor. That evening, her friend Sabrina stopped by with a glass of wine. Victory isn't always about the verdict, Melody said softly. It's about the intention. Her only intention was to protect her children, to give them peace. Meanwhile, Martell began to feel the tide turning. The public's praise had shifted to judgment, and he saw the pain in his children's faces during video calls. He finally texted Melody, "I never meant to hurt you. I just wanted to be close to the kids." Melody read it, her expression unreadable, and chose not to reply. Mediation was offered, and Angela encouraged her to try. "Maybe this is your chance to end the war," she said. Melody agreed. Facing Martell across the table, she spoke calmly. "I just want the kids to have peace. If you love them, please don't destroy their world." For the first time in years, they talked without yelling, without blame, just honesty. By the end, they reached an agreement. Shared custody with the children living primarily in Atlanta. The media called it a victory, peace after the storm. But Melody knew the real win was inside her. Months passed, then a year. Melody flourished. She built routines, launched her fashion line, and became a sought-after speaker. The Atlanta press crowned her the comeback queen. Her new project, Rebuild K, helped women rebuild their lives after hardship. Soon, she was featured on CNN, Essence, and across the nation, inspiring women everywhere. Martell lived a quieter life, staying in touch with his children and slowly confronting his mistakes. He sent another message. "Thank you for keeping peace. I'm learning to find mine too." This time, Melody replied, "I pray you do. No drama, no anger, just quiet understanding." Her children thrived. Her daughter wrote in her journal, "I want to be brave like my mom." That, Melody realized, was the real victory. When Martell later returned to reality TV with Father Reclaimed, she didn't flinch. "I don't repeat my past anymore," she said in an interview. "I just write my future." As she watched her children laugh under the Atlanta sunset, she understood that real victory isn't fame or revenge, it's peace, light, and freedom from fear. Her journey became a living testament that no matter the pain, you can rise, rebuild, and create something beautiful. Melody Holt didn't just survive, she transformed into hope, strength, and a legacy that will never fade. As the years passed, Melody's name became synonymous with resilience. She turned pain into purpose, using every lesson life had thrown her way to guide others through their own storms. Her Rebuild K Foundation expanded nationwide, offering mentorship programs, housing support, and financial literacy workshops for single mothers and survivors of emotional abuse. Every event she hosted was filled with women who saw their own reflections in her story. Women who had once been silenced but were now finding their voices again. Melody often said, healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without letting it control you. Her message resonated. Universities began inviting her to speak, and her words echoed through auditoriums. You can lose everything and still rise. You can be broken and still rebuild. Her calm confidence, once born from pain, now came from peace. Behind the scenes, she stayed grounded, school drop-offs, family dinners, and laughter-filled weekends. Her children were her greatest achievement. Her living proof that love and stability could bloom even after chaos. Martell, on the other hand, faced his own journey of reflection. Father Reclaimed gave him a platform, but it also held up a mirror. He spoke openly about mistakes, about losing sight of what mattered most. For the first time, he admitted publicly that pride had cost him more than any court ruling ever could. In one episode, he said, "I thought winning meant control, but peace is what I really needed." That moment went viral, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. Months later, at a community event promoting positive co-parenting, Melody and Martell were both invited to speak. The audience fell silent when they stood on the same stage. Melody looked poised and calm, while Martell's demeanor carried humility. They didn't perform, they spoke truth. Melody said, "Sometimes healing means setting boundaries. Sometimes it means forgiveness. But always it means choosing peace over pride." Martell nodded and added, "We may not have worked as partners, but we learned how to work as parents. That's what matters most." The audience erupted in applause, not for their fame, but for their growth. After the event, Melody returned home to her quiet Atlanta house. The air smelled of lavender candles and fresh flowers, a reflection of her peace. As she tucked her kids into bed, her daughter whispered, "Mom, you're my hero." Melody smiled softly and replied, "No, sweetheart, you're mine." She stepped outside, the city lights glimmering beyond her window. For a long moment, she just stood there, breathing deeply, freely. Her story had come full circle. What began as a battle for survival became a journey of rebirth. The scars didn't define her. They told the story of how she fought and won, not with revenge, but with grace. Melody Holt had not only rewritten her future, she had redefined what strength looked like for women everywhere. And as the night settled over Atlanta, one truth remained clear. Peace wasn't something given to her. It was something she built, one brave choice at a time. Years later, Melody's legacy continued to grow beyond anything she could have imagined. Her foundation, Rebuild K, had transformed into a national movement, a symbol of hope for women reclaiming their power after loss, heartbreak, or hardship. Media outlets called her the voice of quiet strength. And her story was featured in documentaries, college curriculums, and motivational seminars across the country. Yet, through all the recognition, Melody stayed grounded in the same truth that had saved her years before. Peace was her greatest success. Her children were now teenagers, thriving in their own right. Her daughter excelled in writing and public speaking, often volunteering at Rebuild K events. Her son had a calm wisdom about him, protective of his sister and deeply respectful of his mother's sacrifices. They understood the journey that had shaped their family, not through bitterness, but through gratitude. Every Sunday, the three of them would sit on the porch, sharing stories, laughter, and dreams about the future. Those were the moments Melody cherished the most. Martell, too, had changed. Time had humbled him. His reality show had evolved into a mentorship program for fathers navigating co-parenting and emotional maturity. He credited Melody during interviews, saying, "It took losing her to learn what real strength looks like." Though they led separate lives, they found a rhythm that worked. Holidays shared peacefully. Family milestones celebrated together without tension or resentment. The past had taught them both that love doesn't always mean staying together. Sometimes it means growing apart with grace. One summer afternoon, Melody stood backstage at a women's conference in New York City. Thousands filled the auditorium waiting for her to speak. She took a deep breath, remembering the scared, uncertain woman she once was, the one who had cried over emails, courtrooms, and custody battles. That version of her had fought for this moment. When she stepped onto the stage, the applause was thunderous. But she smiled humbly and began. There was a time when I thought strength meant silence. I thought surviving meant pretending everything was okay.